You can just start with your name, year, and pronouns.
Okay. Hi, my name is Jhynelle Dulay. I'm a associate at Marshall College, and I'm a structural engineering major, and I'm going for the co-internship coordinator position.
And your pronouns.
Oh, she, her.
And then we'll raise their hands. Well, they'll raise their hands when you have 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, your first question is, what are the 5 pillars of KP and how will you ensure that the interns support all pillars? What ideas do you have in mind?
From the pillars I know are space, it's social, political, academic, cultural, and empowerment. And as co-intern coordinator, I would be a part of the empowerment pillar. And for me, the empowerment pillar works collectively with the other pillars, so social empowerment, political empowerment. I see empowerment following and working together with the pillars. And in the sense for helping my interns, I would say that I would educate them as a whole and just further emphasize that KP is KP because of its pillars. The pillars stand for the principles of KP, and ensuring that they are giving their full attention to all the pillars. I would have people from the pillars, the board members, speaking in and just educating the interns and just letting them educating them on the social, political, academic, cultural sides of KP, and making sure that my interns are well versed in that aspect so that they're able to feel educated in what they know and put that and push that out on the community members.
So the next question is like a scenario type question. So your co-internship has not done their share of the work to prepare for this week's internship meeting. This is the third time this quarter that they gave you an unbalanced workload. How do you handle the situation?
Seeing it ugly, but when applying for co-internship coordinator, you should know the responsibilities and weights of your role. And considering that this is the third time, I would kind of bring that concern up to a fellow chair position because they should know their responsibilities and the roles, and it's not fair to me that I have to pick up that workload. But if it was a one-time thing, I would be willing to compensate, and I would be willing to take on that responsibility that they weren't able to that week. But they should know the position and the weight that it comes with it. So I would voice my concerns while also trying to offer help.
Alright, so your next question is, with KP moving towards a safer environment, how will you ensure that there are no negative power dynamics, not only within the KP internship space, but the KP space in general? What will you personally do to continue making KP a safe and welcoming space for everyone?
I would say that for a long time now, KP has been emphasizing a very inclusive and very inclusive space in which we're welcoming everyone in different backgrounds, personalities, or different education backgrounds. And also, could you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah. With KP moving forward towards a safer environment, how will you ensure that there are no negative power dynamics, not only within the KP internship space, but the KP space in general? What will you personally do to continue making KP a safe and welcoming space for everyone?
I would say continue educating, just further emphasizing that KP is an inclusive space and that we shouldn't discriminate or we shouldn't judge people based on certain personalities or aspects that they're a part of. So I'd say just continuing to educate just my interns and telling them to educate other members when situations come up, that it will continue making an inclusive space.
Okay, your next question is, internship for its first 2 years followed a very similar formula. The past few years is where things were a little different. How do you plan on changing up internship if you were given the position?
For my experiences As an intern, I really liked how both Yuna and Rogelio focused more attention on how I interacted with my interns, or just in general, like creating blooming buddies. Like I know that y'all paid attention to a lot of the details, and I would want to continue that. And on top of that, you also brought in a lot of members of the board, and you continue to educate us on KP Our Story or the cultural in general. So I would like to continue that, but further branching it out into faculty. So I spoke with the SSF, and I was interested in bringing Jody or Dr. Solomon into educating the interns, and also it would be cool if there would be like an internship page and they would use that knowledge to spread to the other members. So that's one thing I would want to add. And also I would want to work more with KP Core and KP Star collectively, and because I feel like, for me at least, I had more experience or more info on Genboard, but I would want to know about Star and Core more. So I would get board members from Core and Star to speak to the interns and just make sure that the interns are just well informed about all three boards, and to have them understand that those three boards are what makes KP as a whole and not just one.
Your next question is, there have been previous complaints that internship has been both too much work but not enough was taken out to justify the experience. How you ensure that the interns gain meaningful experience and knowledge from the program while preventing burnout?
I would say that communication is key. Not only that, but being open and honest, because I'm learning from the interns as much as they're learning from me and the KP intern space. So I would say that communication is key, and if they're ever feeling burnt out, that they should feel comfortable enough to share their concerns with me, and my co and I would be able to make adjustments accordingly, just so that the concerns of my interns and also the concerns of myself and my co's are met.
Alright, so you answered all your 5 questions, but we did have time. Are you willing to answer the other ones?
So, due to the abundant workload that the internship coordinator position can potentially have, tell us how you'll be able to balance other extracurriculars and your position.
I use a lot of apps like Notion, Google Calendar, or When to Meet, so I feel like I have a lot of experience already in balancing my time, but I also acknowledge that life happens sometimes, so I think communicating with my co would also help. But yeah, just using those apps and communicating clearly.
Alright. And so that's the end of the questions. Do you have any questions for us?
Yes, that's okay. What made y'all want to go for, or what made you want to go for your VC position? Oh, it's okay if I.
What made me want to go for UCI? Long story short, I saw a need I saw that KP needed someone who had prior experience dealing with the good, the bad, and especially the ugly of KP. And I fortunately and unfortunately had experience with that. So I just really wanted to lend my experiences to uplift the space that initially retained me at UCSD and in KP. I was an intern. I was like in the cultural pillar, and I just really wanted to take what I learned from those spaces and see if I could use it to, I guess, like share the safety and the lessons that I learned from those spaces and bring it to the general space.
And I know that Genboard handles the very like sensitive topics of KP, and everything runs through Genboard. How have what's like y'all's experience with that? Because I know it can get heavy. How would you deal with it?
Just being like open to like everything and just being able to like process and take things in. And I think that also comes with like knowing that, you know, as a board we're all there for each other. So like we're always there to like if you need to like talk extra outside. But I think that also just comes with being like close and forming good relationships with all board as well. But I think in general when those topics do come up it's important to like also voice your own opinions as well. And it's also like safe space, so you should be always comfortable with that. Is there anyone else on that?
Brave space.
Yes, safe space. Do you have any other questions? Alright, then with that concludes your interview.